Thank you for joining us for the Smart Restart Parent Conference 2020. This is day 2. We want to thank everyone that is with us today. If you were with us yesterday, we had a great conference yesterday and got some really good information, and we were able to share that good news and good information with everyone. And again, I am Dr. Sarah Johnson with the Dallas ISD Family and Community Engagement Office, and I'm honored to be your mistress of ceremony today. Okay, today's Smart Restart sessions will include learning management systems overview, video conferencing tools, and technology devices. So we have some really good things. These sessions today are set up from our teaching and learning department, and we're really focusing today on parents being able to assist their children and just understanding the learning platform that the schools will use, as well as the conferencing tools that the schools will use, and also updating you on the technology devices, so making sure our parents are well informed on how to use those technology devices as well. So in addition to the device, let me go to our next one. In addition to the device you're using today to watch, to view in today for the conference, you might also want to have a few other items on hand. I definitely recommend that if you don't have pen and paper, let me go back, sorry. If you don't have pen and paper, you might want to grab that just in case you want to write down any links that are shared or to write down important information you may want to remember. Also, it's nice to have your cell phone nearby if you're not using it for this to watch this video conference. If you're not already using it, sorry. But if you have your cell phone nearby, in case you would rather snap a picture of information as we're going through the presentations, or to scan any QR codes that are shared. So now, just in case you are new to using QR codes, it is really easy, really 4 easy steps using your cell phone. The first one would be to open your camera app on your phone. And then you'll point to that QR code and get it right up there. And sometimes it'll automatically scan it, or it'll trigger the code action, or sometimes you have to press your home button. But the cool thing is that it's really easy. If you have your cell phone and you see a QR code, now you don't have to go to a separate app. You can just open up your camera. So I hope that is helpful for you all. Again, thank you all for joining us today, and we will go ahead and begin with our first session. Our first session of the evening is the Learning Management Systems Overview. Presenting this session today is Mayra Bermudez, who is currently a Dallas ISD Academic Technology Specialist. Mayra has been with the district for 3 years and has a total of 14 years experience as an educator. So welcome, Mayra, and at this time, I'll turn it over to you.
So I'm really excited to be here this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. We are hoping that this information will be helpful. I am from the Department of Professional and Digital Learning, as Dr. Johnson well said. I will encourage you, if you are not using your phone for this event, please keep it handy, because it will allow you to scan some QR codes that I have placed on several slides. The purpose of these codes is to take you to information online that will be available for parents throughout the year. It will also allow for you to gain access to quick references and web pages that we have put together so that you have all the information you need. Okay, so we will begin today with the learning management systems. And the learning management systems that we will talk about today are PowerSchool Learning, which you may have heard about it yesterday, Google Classroom, and Seesaw. We will just touch the surface of what they are and the things you can do with your personal devices so that you can stay up to date with your students' academic progress, okay? Next, Dr. Johnson, please, and thank you. So the agenda right now is to talk about what LMS really means. We will look at the portal for PowerSchool Learning, the Guardian summary reports from Google Classroom, and the student portal and the parent portal and the app for Seesaw. And next, Dr. Johnson, thank you. So what is a learning management system? Well, we know that it is a student platform, it is a teacher platform, it is a learning interface for teachers and parents and students to function as a community. So it stands for Learning Management System because learning is what it is based upon, and management because it allows for teachers to organize courses, to grade students' assignments, to communicate with guardians, and so much more. And because it is software, we refer to it as a system. These systems are very robust, and many districts actually use them. Okay, so let's begin with PowerSchool Learning. It is the official platform that the district uses for grading. So your report cards and those official reports on your students' progress will come from that platform. You can visit the parent website from Dallas ISD, and there you will see the very first button on the top will say Parent Portal. That will take you to the page where you would find that first screen where you would enter your credentials so that you can have access to your students' information. So then we have here basically what you would see when you click on that button. The screenshot on the left shows you the first tab where you have actually a space for students to sign in or parents to sign in. Once the student signs in, they will be prompted to enter their email address for school. So it will take them to that second screen that you see on the right. This is basically a screenshot of what you would see once you land in the system. Once you are logged in and you're officially in the portal, you will see your screen looking much like this one. It has all the classes towards the left, a calendar in the middle, and then some announcements and some information that looks sort of like posts on the right. You can filter all this information. Your classes are color-coded. If you notice in this example, biology is coded a sort of yellow, and English is coded a sort of orange, and then you have green, and I believe that is blue. So these colors are actually your information. It's how it's really categorized by colors so that you can filter that information. And if you want to focus, for example, on your biology class for your student, then you can just see that on the screen. Next, please. So again, this is basically the same information. It's telling you that you will see everything first, but that you can focus on something in particular. And also, actually, we have parents who will have access to different students. So we have to be mindful of, what information we are seeing for which student. That is information that we will gain with a code. So if you would, and when I say code, I mean the app, I'm sorry. So here is basically the example of the color coding that we saw. That's okay, and then that's fine. We can go to the next slide. And then here would be the page of a typical class. So a class would have sort of an outline, a course syllabus, if you will, topics, maybe it's organized by chapters or by time, by week. It'll depend on how the teacher has created this virtual space, but it will have its calendar, it will have all the messages, activities, grades, and whatnot. So you know that as a parent, you will be able to gain access to this information, not all of it, but you will receive certain announcements, you will receive updates, and we do encourage you to explore the app, which I think is the next screen. Okay, again, I did mention that we get class announcements. We do have some messages that we can receive via email or text from the teachers, and any update to the content in the class will also be sent to you. Next. Okay, so here was what I was saying about the code. So this code is, actually I have the code right here. You will download this PowerSchool app, and I will provide you with a QR code in the next screen, I believe, that will take you to your store, depending if you have an Android or an iPhone. And once you get there, the code will be, and I got this information just a couple of minutes ago. It is T as in Tom, K as in kite, B as in boy, S as in Sam. T, K, B, S are the 4 letters that will actually connect you to the school district. So here are your QR codes. I invite you to go ahead and use the code that applies to your device and have that app downloaded and start getting acquainted with it. Try to put in your code. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, please contact your liaison for this event and have them contact us or whoever will give you that support that you would need with PowerSchool specifically. Next. Well, should we just let them scan, give that maybe a couple of more seconds in case they are needing to scan those. And you can also, if you are using your phone for this presentation, you can also just Google PowerSchool app, and it will take you to pages where you will be able to download these apps. Okay, so about Google Classroom, I thought you would want to know what it looks like from your students' end, right, when they are assigned material through Google Classroom. It is very upfront. Most of our students are familiar with the Google Classroom platform, and they tend to be very proficient and they gain comfort really, really quickly. But basically, these are 3 screens. You are looking at 3 screens from left to right of the process, if you will, of how your student would upload or turn in assignments, okay? It is very flexible. There are different ways that they can submit assignments, and they can submit different kinds of assignments, whether it be a video or whether it be a drawing. These are different things that they would be told what they need to upload. And but basically the whole big idea is that they would click on a page where they would see the work that they need to turn in. They would look at the assignment and see the details of the assignment. And then lastly, they would submit the work, okay? Please,
Mayra,
yes.
can you share again the code that they will need to use in association with the app?
With the app for PowerSchool?
Correct.
I don't have control over the slides, but Dr. Johnson, if you would be, if you would please, right there.
Do you have it in your little piece of paper?
Oh, the code. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that is, let me go again. I should have, okay, kept it right here. And I apologize that it's not in the slides, but it's just that I gained this information.
I'll put it in the chat. If you give it to me, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, it would be T as in Tom, K as in kite, B as in boy, and S as in Sam.
Is it case sensitive?
I don't believe so. It will be uppercase.
Thank you, Mayra.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we were talking about student assignments. So again, once they look at the detail of this assignment and they see what they need to do and what they need to upload, then it'll be as simple as following those instructions and then clicking on a button that says turn in. And they even will be able to unsubmit work if they need to correct something. They will receive feedback from their teacher. And all of this you will actually be able to gain access to as a parent, because Google Classroom has a feature that is called Guardian Summary Reports. And if your teacher enables that and they gain that information from you in terms of your contact information, your email address, with that account, they will be able to send you those summary reports. So if you scan, and I have my phone right here, so if you scan this code, it'll take you to a quick guide. That quick guide was prepared by our colleague, Ms. Dina Perez, and she basically has all the little steps to turn in work. This comes in handy for your student if they have never used Google Classroom, or for yourself if you need to know or assist your child in submitting submitting work in Google Classroom. Okay, you can go ahead and keep those tabs open as these QR codes take you to different resources. You can go ahead and just not close that window, go back to your camera, and as you gain all these links to your different resources, after the session, you can go ahead and go back to all those tabs within your phone and save them, bookmark them, so that you can have those readily available in your phone, okay? Next, please. Okay, so if your teacher uses the Guardian summary reports featured in Google Classroom, you will receive an invitation via email. You will accept the invitation. It will look like this. Next. And then you will have a summary report every week. It's normally every week. You will have information regarding missing work, any work that was not sent, upcoming work, and even class activities and announcements, even questions recently posted by teachers. So if you look towards the middle, that is what a typical Guardian summary report looks like. So it is, they all have the same color scheme. They all look pretty much the same. I, as a parent, have that privilege to, have my student have the device at home, and I do know through summary reports what is the updated information. And then again, if you scan this code, I'm making sure my codes are working. You will have access to a page, an official Google help page, where you'll see everything you need to know about how these classroom email summaries work. Okay, next, please. Okay, so if we're ready, let's move on to Seesaw. Seesaw is very popular among our lower grade levels because it is so friendly, so visual, so colorful, and it also is, it has this very particular feature that allows for family members to react to different posts. So if your student submits a drawing or completes an assignment and they post it, their family, if the teacher has enabled that feature, the family would be able to see that post and like it, just like in social media, okay? So they can submit work. This is called a journal. Their platform, the student platform, or the place where they actually turn in work is called the journal. And they can upload pictures, drawings, text, videos, even audio files. It looks somewhat like the screenshot on the right. And basically what they would see is, if you focus on that screenshot on the right side, where you see 5th grade, under 5th grade, you would have 3 tabs, and that's where you would see announcements. That's where you would see your students' work, assignments, and so forth. So towards the middle, that larger space is their work area, where they would actually generate their classwork and submit, okay? Next, please. Again, this is only for you to see how this works on the teacher's end. They have to enable family access. That's what you see at the bottom left. And then if you look at, those are my son's names. If you see the student's name for the teacher, they would have that space provided to include a phone number or an email address of the parent. And that's how they establish that connection with you. Okay, next, please. Okay, so we have here what you would receive once your information, your email or your phone number has been entered into Seesaw by your teacher. this is basically how you would receive that invitation to view your students' work. Either it would be an email, it could be a text message, like in the middle, or the application, the platform Seesaw, actually generates like a little letter with a code that would allow you to accept that invitation. Okay, it even has instructions if you don't want to use the code. Next, please. So once you receive the invitation and you accept it, then your sign-in information goes into a screen that looks like this. Okay, next. Okay, so download the Seesaw app. So the Seesaw app, this particular code that you get will take you to a web page where you will then find which of the devices you need to, which of the codes pertaining to each device you will need to use. So if I go here, and if you scroll down, you're using your phone, you scroll down, it says, right here, okay, it says the App Store and Google Play, and even for Kindle. Okay, so there you have your 3 options. So you click on those to go to the store and download your Seesaw app. And if you want us to kind of stay there for 10 more seconds, please take advantage of that. And again, if you do not have your phone to scan, you can go ahead and just Google Seesaw app. It'll take you to the same page. Next. Okay, so if you scan this code, that will be a sort of a quick reference that Seesaw has on their site. They actually have all the frequently asked questions for families, and it is downloadable. So if you decide that you want to print it at home, or if you want to just bookmark it, it is there for you. So it is very very thorough, but just 3 pages. So it is a great tool in case you have any questions regarding how the app works. Okay. Yeah, that would be the resource. Okay, now finally, I thought, well, it would be a good idea to sort of put all of this together in one web page that will allow for you to take your time and see a little bit about learning, PowerSchool Learning, Google Classroom, and Seesaw. So if you scan this last code, I made a very quick reference website, very simple, not a lot of information, trying to be, to the point, and like a quick place where you can actually find videos and other resources for your students. Okay, so this should take you to a Google website that is titled Resources for Students and Families. So then you see a button here where it's Resources for Families. If you click on that, you will see some information about your iPads and Chromebooks. You will see a little bit about Clever and how to log in with Clever, and then some overview for parents on the learning management systems, okay? And there's also a page for students. Those are guides and little videos that we have put together for our students, especially the younger ones, and they help you in setting up your devices. And please stay around, because we will have a session about devices, and I advise to have your phone, because I have added so many resources to that session that we will have later on at 5. So next, please. So if you have any questions at this point, I am ready for you.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Mayra.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to go ahead and open it up for our question and answer session on the Learning Management System overview. I will ask our presenter, Mayra, a few of the top questions that were asked during the presentation. Okay, first one, Mayra. Do students have to use the devices issued, or can they use their own?
Oh, that's a good question. And I think that's a Nestor question too. Of course, we advise that they use the devices that were offered by the district. Not that the private ones, the ones that are your personal devices, cannot work. They can. The only issue that brings up is that sometimes when we're using our personal devices, especially as parents, we're the ones logged into those devices. We do not see it readily, on the screen. So it's kind of hard to tell if, for example, I open Google Chrome in my phone, if it's my son who's logged in, or if it's me, and then that'll bring issues with privacy. That it won't let you get into the different resources. And then when it comes to maybe Google Drive and all these online spaces where resources are provided by teachers, we will have some difficulty probably if this is not, if we are not aware of which is the account that is logged in. So Nestor, I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, I totally agree with you, Mayra. I think it will make things a lot easier if you use the district device. Just because of convenience. You mentioned, because devices are normally specific to one user. So if you have, for instance, more than one person in the household that may have access to the same device, you will run into the problem you just mentioned. If you want to open your email, you might be opening somebody else's email. It will take just some time to log somebody off and then log back in with yours, as opposed to have one device dedicated for your coursework, and every time you go in there, you know what you're finding. But there is nothing wrong with using your own personal device, really. It's just a recommendation to use the district issue device just because of convenience. Yeah.
Let me introduce Nestor, since he came on. We have Nestor Restrepo on. He is the Director of Professional and Digital Learning. And he is also a presenter tonight. He's going to present our second session, but him and Mayra work together, and they'll both be helping with those questions and answers tonight. And if you were lucky, Nestor might have answered your questions on the Q&A live. So our second question is the PowerSchool login the same as last year?
I do not know. Nestor, do you know the answer to that?
That would be a question for somebody from the IT department, really. But I would assume it should be the same. I mean, if they are going to do some major upgrades, things may change, but I will try my previous login information first.
Okay. All right. And let's go to the third question. When will PowerSchool be populated with current information?
I will guess, I do not have firsthand information on this, but typically this happens within a week or so before school begins. But this is something that I would check regularly if I'm able to log in to PowerSchool. That information, Nestor, again, maybe IT would know this, and the campuses too, actually.
Yeah, they are working tirelessly. When I say they, I'm talking about IT in rostering all the students. Data changes constantly, so they are running updates all the time, trying to keep everything current. But I will say that when the time to go back to school is really close, everything should be perfectly rostered.
When will PowerSchool, what is the difference between the two email addresses in PowerSchool? They're asking, sometimes they have a student ID, let me see, read that again, student Dallas ISD email account, as well as a school email account. Do y'all know the difference between the two?
I'm not aware of any difference, really. Sometimes when we try to access information to create learning materials, it's kind of difficult because I don't have children attending Dallas ISD. So, but most of the times, all the information is very standard. There are some exceptions, and some campuses do minor changes, but you will be notified if the way to log in into your account is slightly different.
Okay. And they'll be notified by their schools, or?
Yes, by the schools. When there are some exceptions at some campuses, they will let their parents know. The campus itself.
Based on our conference session last night with talking about Parent Portal and PowerSchool, I believe the answer to that question is that your logins will be the same. You might be asked to reset your password or something like that. But if you do log in, I do know if you log into Parent Portal, make sure that you have the most up-to-date email address so that you will receive those emails, whether it's from the school or the district. Just you want to make sure that the email address that's on file for you or for your student is current. And so let's go to the next one. How can parents get their child's email address?
It's a standard. It's just sometimes it's just the ID number, and sometimes it's just the ST ID number at dallasisd.org, and they can again go back or refer to the campus administrator. Just the campus will be able to clarify all those questions.
Yes, and again, I believe they can see that information in Parent Portal as well if they have a login, or if you don't have a login for Parent Portal, we had sessions last night, and so that information will be uploaded. So if you missed that session last night, just know that on Friday, all of the sessions will be uploaded to the website, and I'll show you later how to access that VPC webpage, and you can get registered in Parent Portal, and we have the steps on how to do that. So let's go to the next one, talking about the platforms. So which platforms will be used for which grade levels?
That is my understanding is that the lower grade levels from pre-K to second grade may be using iPads. So they would probably use Seesaw and Google Classroom and PowerSchool. No, PowerSchool would be for older kids. But we are talking about iPads for pre-K to second grade, and they would be probably using Google Classroom and Seesaw, and then probably Seesaw into grades 3, 4, 5. Again, this is something that the teacher or the campus would determine.
Let me interject. Actually, Seesaw is going to be exclusively for pre-K through 2.
Oh, okay.
So there's not going to be a choice for learning management system. It's only that one. But 3 to 12, they will have the choice between Google Classroom and PowerSchool Learning. I assume that this is a campus decision. There are so many things to consider, and I will start reaching out to your campus administrator to see if they already made a decision about which of those 2 platforms that they're going to use if your child is between 3rd grade or 12th grade. But for early learning, it's going to be Seesaw.
Okay. So for those younger students, one of the questions is for those younger students that are using Seesaw, will they also need the PowerSchool app?
Well, the PowerSchool app is not just restricted to the learning management system. PowerSchool is the universal way of doing attendance and gradebook. What we are talking about today is just the learning management system aspect of it. So that's totally different. But what you learned yesterday about how to look at grades and how to look at other things inside of PowerSchool is totally valid. And yes, the app will be useful even if you have a child pre-K or through 2nd grade.
Okay. And when we use PowerSchool and Parent Portal interchangeably, but really they are the same. And parents, if you know that you have access to parent portal, and that means you're also in PowerSchool. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I think we kind of answered this, but for the Montessori and the magnet campuses, which platform will they use?
You will need to reach out to the campuses because principals and campus administrators, they have some autonomies, and they have been debriefed on all the tools that are available, and it's really up to them to make the best decision for their campus. So it's not really us telling you must use this or that. It's really a campus decision at some levels.
Mm-hmm. So in essence, if they don't get a chance to contact the schools, we foresee that they will receive some kind of communication from the school, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, let's go on. Let's see here. Another question. I'm going to go in our Q&A section to see if any more questions were posted.
I do see one, Dr. Johnson.
Okay.
It's written in Spanish. They're asking how to download Seesaw, the app. So we would provide that. We can actually Google it. I mentioned that option. We can Google Seesaw app, and that would be the page that Seesaw really has both options combined for Androids and for Apple. So you would have the links right there to download your Seesaw app.
Mm-hmm. And so, Nestor, if you could do a little clarification for us, what exactly, parents sometimes get confused when we talk about Clever. Can you explain what Clever is? Because I see that sometimes they know they have to log into Clever. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very easy to relate in a very positive way with Clever. All of us, most adults right now, we have multiple accounts for so many things. You have accounts for your online banking, for your email address, for some accounts that you create for learning, whatnot. And most of the times we juggle, what's the password for this? What's the password for that? So Clever is a solution that the district has in place to solve that issue. Just imagine the number of digital tools that we have, which is a lot. And imagine a student having to remember, what was my password here again? And constantly asking the teacher, can you please reset my password because I forgot? So to avoid that, Clever is a single sign-on solution. So when a student wants to access a district digital tool, a district-provided digital tool, and they go that through Clever, that's all they need to remember, the login into Clever. And then that's going to open the portal to all the digital tools and assets that they have access to without remembering and dozens of passwords easily. Nowadays, there are a lot of digital resources that students have access to. So Clever is just that. It's a portal that makes easy to access digital resources that students have.
It's almost like a one-stop shop for you, right? With your
yes.
accesses.
And also it helps with making sure that you are actually using the right account. So if you know that you access a tool or a resource through Clever, you rest assured that you are using Dallas ISD credentials for that. So as opposed to trying to access tools from outside of Clever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question we have is, how do parents go about requesting Chromebooks if they know they need to pick up one? I know the schools are, I'm kind of answering this question, but I'll just give you the question. It says, how do they request those Chromebooks? Because if they go to the district website right now, it only allows them to request a hotspot.
Actually, the form to request hotspot or Chromebook is the same form. You will have the choice in the form to select Chromebook or select hotspot or both.
Okay, so say that again for us and say it loud so that parents hear that, because that's we've had several questions on
Yeah, because we hear the feedback from parents, and during the spring, when the district started to distribute some hotspots, we got some issues with specifically that. So we simplified the process, and in the same form request, the parent can check either if they want the Chromebook or if they want just the hotspot, or if they need both. So it's just the same form for both.
Where do they go on the district website to make that request?
There is a very visible button that has that. I will need to go really quick. If you want, you can shoot the next question. In the meantime, I will make sure that I will reference it right.
So we'll find that out for you, exactly where you go on the district main webpage to make those requests. We'll come back to that question. Let's see. Oh, which Seesaw app should they download? Ms. Bermudez, like, should they download the family or the classroom?
Oh, I understand that.
Question.
Yes, it's a good question. And I have no children using Seesaw, but I am guessing that it would be the family piece of it, so that they can gain that access. And remember, when they get that invitation, they're receiving an invitation as a parent to be registered in the system as a family member that will be able to view the work. So I suggest they work with the app in their own personal devices, and maybe in the school's device, they would have the app that would be like the platform for the student. Yeah.
And I do have little ones that use Seesaw, and Seesaw I like the app a lot. And in fact, but actually it's the classroom app that we had to download. I only know that because I downloaded the family app and it wasn't quite the same as the classroom app. And the classroom app really allowed it was for the kids when they actually get on.
Right.
So, but I do know that if that has changed, I know that when the school and the teachers communicate with you about getting your students onto those platforms, they will clarify which app, because Seesaw does have two, and that's a major question, very popular question. So just know that there are two different apps for Seesaw. You have the family and the classroom. And this, when you start getting your emails from the teachers about getting on to Seesaw, it probably would be good to ask them at that time, is it the family or the classroom? And I'm sure they'll provide that information. Let's see here. We don't have any more questions, but Nestor, were you able to find out on the main webpage if they go on exactly where they would go to request a Chromebook or a hotspot or an iPad?
I am going to create a tiny CC. I found the form, but I want to create a tiny CC so everybody can walk away from this meeting knowing the URL they can use. Give me just a minute. Okay.
Is there anything else, Mayra, you think that we want to share with parents? Because I know, we have a lot of questions about parents. I'm a mother of four, so I completely understand, the anxiety that you feel about working with the different platforms, especially if you have kids multiple ages. So, Mayra, is there anything else that you think would be beneficial for them to know? Or
well, I see a lot of questions regarding iStation, and there was one parent asking about Class Dojo. So these are apps that our parents are familiar with. But I would suppose, and Nestor, you correct me, I would suppose that some are campus purchases or campus decisions, and sometimes they're district-wide. So it would be up to communicating with the school. Do you know anything about the Class Dojo, Dr. Johnson?
About Class Dojo?
Mm-hmm. There's some parents asking about that.
I know
I don't think at this moment there is like a district-wide initiative to get it. That's something we will need to look into. But
right, and I think individual teachers actually use them. Right.
And I already have a tiny CC if you guys want it. I just create is tiny.cc/device request 2020. That's gonna take you to the point.
I'll put it on our slide for them. Say it one more time.
It's tiny.cc / device request 2020.
Or when we come back, Nestor, since you're going to be doing the next one, I'll put it on there. I'll put it on there again, but it's a tiny URL, parents, and that last part is device request 2020. And don't worry if you didn't get it all the way. We will share that again as we prepare for the next session. So, okay, so we'd like to thank Mayra Bermudez for her presentation on the learning management systems. I want to say one thing. Mayra asked about Class Dojo. Yes, those different apps like Class Dojo, Remind, 101, all of those, a lot of them are teacher-led. Some of them, the schools do it as a whole, but those aren't learning platforms. So there is a difference. So the learning platforms are actually what the kids will be on and submit their work and actually get their lessons from. So, but those other apps are great ways of communication. And, you know, with the Family and Community Engagement Department, we highly emphasize any and every way to have an option for parents to be able to communicate back and forth with the school.